We all understand what a dragon or a unicorn looks like. If someone shows us a picture, we can recognize it immediately, even though they don't actually exist. That's because we've all agreed on what a dragon or unicorn should look like. Cryptocurrency works the same way. It doesn't exist physically, but enough people believe in it, and that shared belief gives it value. Now you might ask, if it doesn't exist, how do we actually use it? Imagine a child with a play kitchen. They can cook as much as they want and serve endless cups of teas at their tea party. But because it's pure make-believe, the supply is unlimited. So the value of the pretend tea is basically zero. Compare that to a video game. If the game gives you only 3 lives, suddenly you take it much more seriously. Every move matters. The rules and limit gives it value. Bitcoin works the same way. By limiting the supply to only 21 million coins, people treated it as something valuable. So what's the difference between Bitcoin and regular money? Let's say Tesla announces it will accept Bitcoin for cars. Suddenly, Bitcoin's value jumps because now you can trade it for real things. But if Tesla changes its mind and stops accepting Bitcoin, the price can crash. That's because Bitcoin's value depends on belief. Money, on the other hand, is backed by governments and banks. In countries like the US or Canada, the value of a dollar doesn't swing widely because the government guarantees it. For example, if strawberries cost 50 cents today and $100 tomorrow, you wouldn't think the dollar lost its value. You just assume the store raised its price, and people would stop buying. With Bitcoin, though, the value itself can change dramatically. This is why Bitcoin feels like a gamble or investment in strong economies. But in places like Venezuela, where the local currency is collapsing, crypto can actually be more stable for everyday shopping. Now here's the tricky part. If there is no bank to approve transactions, who keeps track? The answer is the ledger. The ledger is like a giant record book of every transaction. It's made up of blocks, and each block contains as many transactions as it can hold. Every block also carries the address of the block before it, which links them together into a chain, the blockchain. But since there is no centralized authority like a bank to update this ledger, someone has to do the job. That's where the miners come in. Miners use powerful computers to pick up pending transactions. Since the space in each block is limited, they try to fill it up as much as possible and naturally prioritize the transactions that pay higher fees, because that means more profit. But miners can't just drop their block into the chain. They first have to earn the right. How? By solving a very hard mathematical puzzle. This puzzle, called proof of work, is like guessing a secret number. It takes enormous computing power and electricity, which makes the system secure. Not just anyone can step in and fake it. Once a miner solves the puzzle, they add the block to the chain and get rewarded with both the fees inside the block and some newly created Bitcoin. So why can't miners cheat? Because if a miner tries to sneak in a fake transaction, even a tiny change alters the block's address. That breaks the chain, and the network rejects it. The only way to cheat would be control the majority of the world's mining computers and build a longer fake chain than the real one, something called a 51% attack. But in practice, That's nearly impossible. The cost in electricity and hardware would be higher than any possible reward. This design ensures that miners desire to play fair, pick transactions, especially ones with higher fees, solve the puzzle, and secure the chain. And they'll keep doing this until around the year 2140, when all 21 million bitcoins have been mined. After that, miners will only be paid in transaction fees, not new coins. And so something that started as an idea, as imaginary as a dragon or a unicorn, becomes real through belief, rules, and a secure system of blocks and puzzles that keep the game fair for everyone.